So, regular viewers and followers will have seen that I have finished my full 16 tile Zone Mortalis board for Horus Heresy. It's been quite the undertaking, but I'm very proud of how it's turned out, and the multiple games that have been played on it so far have all been bloody, brutal, and absolutely brilliant. I've been getting quite a few questions and requests on how the board looks and how I have built it, so I thought it would be worthwhile looking at all the 16 different tiles that make up the board. All the sections have their walls, barricades and doors in fixed configurations for ease of setup and storage, but the 16 tiles means I can get a huge amount of variation when setting up the board. But enough small talk, let's look at the 16 tiles of the lower decks of the Relentless, my Death Guard's strike cruiser. Enjoy! A standard L section with a large door and some caved in sections of piping and walls. A major feature of the tiles is naturally the rust effects, which I like to think is a side effect of some of the Astartes' more esoteric weapons. Also, I like to think that one of the barrels was thrown so hard by a dreadnought that it cracked the wall. A small, open chamber. It's important to have small open areas for combat in a Zone Mortalis board, and this section features enough wall sections to make those fights claustrophobic. It also features more rusty pipes and barrels as well. A primary cross section where two corridors meet. These areas always get particularly bloody in a Zone Mortalis engagement, and I think that all boards should at least feature a few. One wall has a door that's seen better days, being battered and rusted shut. I really wanted an area that would go from a wide open space to a narrow one, and I think that this tile is awesome. It becomes a really defensible location in games as well. Again, lots of rust and lots of grime. I really like this section in particular as I tried some new painting techniques on the melting pipe. I like to think it was a fuel pipe that a rogue meltablast hit and utterly melted, soaking the lower decks in superheated liquid metal. We treat it as dangerous terrain in games as well. The barrel stack also makes a good barricade when it's needed. This is my one open tile on the board, an ideal area for either a big open field for fights or filling with hardware and scattered terrain. And those hazard stripes in the middle were so satisfying to paint. Another L section, important for defining borders and setting up corridors. As I'm a member of the 14th Legion, I wanted the unifying spot colour to be Alchem green, so made sure all of the lighting was consistent between the tiles. The open piping counts as a barrier as well to allow access into the next room. The first of many narrow corridors for intense firefights. This one has a huge amount of barrels and boxes on one end, offering one side a barricade to hide behind. There's also some unhealthily glowing pipes next to it that a canny commander can charge through, so long as he's not worried about the radiation of course. It's a Death Guard ship, so there's bound to be pipes full of chemical compounds throughout, and no doubt a stray bolter round has spilt deadly alchem all over one end of the corridor. I really enjoy making alchem ooze and slime, it's tons of fun. Also, some poor individual has no doubt been bisected by a suddenly closing door as well. A large T-junction with lots of barricades, another crucial choke point in any battle. I wanted this one as well to be fully enclosed for that extra labyrinthian effect. Another open section for combat. This one has a pillar that a poor individual has hit with such force that it has burst them, leaving a massive bloodstain on one of the walls. Also features a small doorway that can become another defensive point. Another wide open space with a heavy doorway and a wall on one end. In all our games so far, these doorways have become real battlegrounds and points of control, and having numerous doorways on a Zone Mortalis board will always make it more exciting. Another doorway, but this time with a slightly different wall structure. I find variations like this makes the board even more exciting to play on. Something very bad happened in this room, and every time we've included it in a setup, something hilarious or bloody has always occurred within it. Being ostensibly a medical room, I made the walls and floor a bit brighter to clash even more with the gore. I also wanted to give the effect that the blood had coated the lights in the room as well. And if you look closely, I've also included a wee tribute to one of my favourite game series on the floor as well. An interesting section with a single small doorway and lots of walls. I really like the broken section and wiring that has started to rust and fall apart. This is another section that often ends in a really brutal firefight. And finally, an L section featuring a lot of ruined walls, a melted door and barricades. This section again sees lots of combat whenever we've used it. And that's my Zone Mortalis board. I really hope you enjoyed seeing it. If you've got any questions about it, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you all on the next video.